Well, Purdue Pharma's new settlement has been approved by a federal bankruptcy judge. The OxyContin maker and its owners, the Sackler family, will now have to pay up to $7 billion over the next 15 years to settle thousands of lawsuits. This settlement replaces an agreement that the Supreme Court rejected last year that improperly protected the Sackler family from future lawsuits. Anyone who does not opt into these payments will and can still sue the family. NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris joins me now. So, Misty, you had told us last hour a large amount of the settlement is going to end up going to various state governments, right, to cover opioid addiction issues. Where else does the money go? How much will the victims actually see?
So there's about $850 million that is going to go to the victims. There'll be somewhere between $8,000 and $16,000 each to those victims. And there's a process for that. They have to qualify. And then it becomes an individualized assessment about how much money that is. So it's not without complication. But moving forward with these lawsuits, it's the idea of certainty versus uncertainty. These payouts are supposed to happen in 2026 versus who knows down the line if you're engaged in litigation. So there's a benefit burden. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but keep in mind, there's been about $50 billion with a B worth of settlements that have been done by drug distributors, national drug distributors in the past 10, 15 years. And most of that went to governments for remediation. So this is a unique settlement in the sense that there is a large amount allocated to those victims.
To victims as well. All right. The Sackler family, as part of this deal, has to give up its ownership of Purdue Pharma. What happens to the company now?
So they're going to immediately contribute $900 million to this settlement fund. Then it's going to dissolve and it's going to be resurrected as Knoa Pharma, which is going to be a non-for-profit. It's going to do some drug distribution for anti-overdose medications, as well as other resources for remedial efforts regarding the opioid crisis. So that's going to be the new iteration. But the Sackler family is not necessarily out of the woods. The door is open for future lawsuits against them.
And you said there are still hundreds of people potentially who did not sign on to this particular lawsuit or settlement.
Right. They had objected to it during hearings that preceded the settlement. So there was about 250 that had voiced their objections. They could pursue it. There's others who could pursue it depending on whether or not they end up opting in or opting out of this particular settlement. This all relates back to that Supreme Court decision last year where they said that Purdue declared bankruptcy, not the Sacklers in their personal capacity. So that original settlement proposal was rejected because it improperly included them from avoiding liability for any future lawsuits.
All right, Misty Marris, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.